Now I'm going to go back to Teams so that I demo the challenges with regards to assessments within Teams. So let's see. I'm going to stop sharing so that I go back to my Teams and then I'll reshare again. Advise that your Teams is the space in which you want to add all your additional applications. So the ideal situation is that when you want to create now your forms within the Teams platform, you will click on the plus sign, and then you will go to forms, and then you go to forms. I do apologize for bad network quality, so it's going to take a bit for me to actually be active or be able to demo some of these things right before just there. I'm going to try it again. So my form doesn't look like it wants to add. Let me try again. Right, loading now. Right, so you'll see the minute you add the forms tab, what will happen is it will ask you to create a shared form that your team can edit, or you add an existing form. So what happens is, let me just go directly to create a new form that can be shared, and then I'm going to create a new form and say assessments. So this is just for demo purposes, and I just want you to see some of the limitations that you have in terms of using forms within the Teams platform. And then I'm going to say save. And then you'll see it will immediately add a tab that says assessment. The disadvantage here is that it will set it as a form, and this is an option that's still available in South Africa only. I've noted that some countries already have an updated version of Teams where they are able to include or create forms within or assessments within Teams. So currently the limitation in South Africa is that you're not able to create your assessment within Teams. However, you are able to create a form. And right at the beginning, if you would have noted, I did mention that the difference here is that the form is used to collect information and conduct surveys. So you will not have the options to allocate marks, or you won't be able to even see the learner marks once, obviously, because there's no mark allocation. So here you're only able to create forms and not assessments. However, if you are looking, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to erase that, remove this totally, because what we're looking to do is create an assessment. So the ideal situation in this case is that you create your assessment using your Office 365 account. So you go to your Office 365 account, you go to forms, you create a quiz, and then you complete the entire quiz. Once you've completed the entire quiz, what you want to do is you get your quiz link, like I showed you, and then you copy it and then you paste it within your chat space, within your post in the classroom. You paste it there, and then you go to add, and then you go to forms, and then you just go to add an existing form, and then you will see there's a drop down there that says assessment. So this is the assessment that I just pasted in the chat space. So you click on assessment and then you save. Once you save, you will see that it then opens the assessment that you just created. So it looks like I inserted the wrong one. Let me just try that again. You click on add form. Add an existing assessment. I think this is the one. And then I save. Right, this is the one. So you will see immediately that assessment that you just created will now pop like this inside your classroom. And then learners will have the option of opening it, completing it, and then submitting it within the classroom space. All right, now I'm quickly going to jump into the next demonstration or the next assessment. Hlengi, I think we agreed on Kahoot, am I correct?
Yes, Matapelo.
All right. So the next demo will be the Kahoot demo. So when you're using your Kahoot, again, it's in your classroom space. You click on the plus sign and you look for Kahoot. There it is, fortunately. And when you click on Kahoot, it will ask you to log in. In the event that you do have an account, you will log in. In the event that you don't have an account, you will continue with Google or with your Microsoft account, and it will take you through the process of creating a Kahoot account. So in this instance, because I've got an account, I'm just going to log in and use my private email address. Let's hope I get the password right, otherwise it won't let me in. And then you'll see if the password is right, you just click on add Kahoot and then you save. Right. So in Kahoot, the situation is the same. What needs to happen is you need to create a Kahoot externally. And then what happens is all your Kahoots will reflect within your classroom once you've created them externally. And what I mean by that is I am going to now stop sharing this screen, and then I'm going to go to Kahoot using my web browser. And then I'm going to go Kahoot Creator. Right. I see that I've logged in. Let me just exit so that I show you the full process. I'll just quickly sign out. Let me sign out. Where is it taking me? Right. So this is the screen that you will have when you're logging in, and then you're going to use your login details. And then what happens is you will see that there's different Kahoots in the middle. It's quite busy. But what you're looking to do first thing when you do log in is you're going to create, right? And then you're going to create a new Kahoot, right? And then you will see that on the left-hand side, you've got your list of questions. And then here it says start typing your questions. And then you type in your questions. I'm going to go back to my bank of questions. right? And then you've got options, 4 options here as answers. And then you just copy across. Let me just do this. Oh, it's not gonna let me. Let's just make this sheet a bit. And then I'll just add the incorrect one here. And then add the last one here. What would the last one be? It would be peer assessment. Right. So, and then where you're looking to add another question, you just click here. You'll see that you've also got an option of adding your bank of questions. So in the event that you do have your bank of questions, it's very easy to just load them here, and then it's easier instead of typing them all over again. So I've just tried to add a new question. You will see it will ask, do you want a quiz like the first one? Do you want a true or false? Do you want to type in the answer? Do you want a puzzle? So there's different types of questions that one can include. And then I'll just ask true or false. What was the question here again? Let me just find one. True or false. Is a type of of right. So you've got the option of selecting the correct answer as true or as false. I think I didn't select the correct answer with the first one. So the correct answer will be Matabelo in this instance. So once you are done doing that, you click on done. Oh, I didn't give a title for my Kahoot. Maybe let me just go back, and you'll see that right there at the top is where you insert your title, and then you give a description or your instructions. Eat before before the end of the day. My system before the. So you can give your Kahoot an image here. I don't have a picture, and then you just click on done, and then you click on done there at the top, and then it will validate, and then yay, the Kahoot is ready to be played, and then you go done. Right. So when you go back to your classroom, where's my classroom? There's my classroom. So when you go back to your classroom, let me just remove this one quickly so that we redo and see if it will load the current one. Right, so we remember we go to add Kahoot, and then you save it. And then you will see that now I have 2 Kahoots. I have 2 Kahoots available to me. Now, Sometimes what you want to do is you want to set up a Kahoot, and like we did earlier, you want your learners to you want your learners to complete the assessment or the Kahoot whilst you want them to complete the Kahoot at leisure, or after school, not during break. And obviously they will play it in different instances, right? So what you do is you go back again to this view, you go to the Kahoot, and then you play. So when you play the Kahoot, you will see that it's got two options. And I think it's important to note that these settings in particular are also just are available when you're using the browser. So when you're looking to set this a Kahoot for learners to complete in various times, it's best that you use your browser version and not your classroom version or the one that you've added in Teams. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So you will see that there's the teach one that allows you to play the game instantly. So you set it up, and then you go teach, and then if I set it up, it will launch, and everybody will get a game pin, and then when they do get the game pin, they play immediately. There's no allowance for them to play a little bit later. However, if you're looking for them to play or to complete the assessment later, you go to the self-paced learning, and then you assign the Kahoot. So what you have here under date, you've got the option to assign it for whenever you want them to complete it. Say you want them to complete it on Wednesday, and they should complete it by 12 p.m. And then you have the option to randomize the answers. And then we don't want this nickname generator, because in this instance you want to track which learners have completed the Kahoot, so you switch that off. And then what you want to do, you want to then create the challenge. So you will notice that once you create the challenge, it will give you a link to the Kahoot. So you copy it, you copy the link, and learners don't necessarily need this game pin. You've got the option to share it in Google Classrooms or in your Teams classroom. In this instance, we're going to open Teams. And then you search for the channel in which you want to share this the challenge. In this instance, Kambe, what's the name of our channel? I think it's the Telkom Extended.
That's correct.
So you look for the class in which you want to share the Kahoot, and then you share. Right, and you will notice that right there at the bottom it says your link has been shared. Right, so I am now going to go back to our classroom and see if the Kahoot is indeed shared. Right, you will see that the Kahoot has been shared. And when you click there, the learner experience will be as such. So it will ask them to enter their name. And then they'll go in the class or in the Kahoot. And then it will give the title of the assessment. What methods of assessment can you use? Please choose the correct from the list. And then you will see that I've got the different assessments. It's got the timer on the left. I'm going to choose that. And I've got my answer there correct. And I'm still first in the leaderboard because I'm the only one who's completed. I'll go to the next one. and you will see that it shows the leaderboard and I'm currently winning. Now, learners will have to note they can save this link to keep on checking who is in the lead in terms of getting the answers correct. So the learners can copy this link and see who's in the lead. I think in terms of demo, Hlengi, that's where the session will end. I'm going to pass the mic on to you again.
Thanks so much, Matsapelo, for that demonstration. Now, we have seen how you can create Kahoot, how you can create forms, how you can create quizzes using forms. But the question is, okay, I do know how to create the tools, and I'm the master of my subject. But now my challenge is that I don't have an idea on how I can integrate this digital assessment in my subject. So we are going to share with you two ideas that we have put down, but I'm sure there are some of us already who are thinking about where and how they can integrate digital assessment in their subject. Before I allow you to share your ideas, I'm going to share this first one, which is from a history lesson. What I like about this assessment idea is that it's not only focusing on assessment, but it's a model which demonstrates the full integration of digital tools as well as digital assessment, right? So look at this teacher. This teacher is doing a topic on industrial revolution, right? So what the teacher does, she sends a video to the learners, a link to the video for the learners to watch the video, right? So when the learners have watched the video, the teacher shares questions that go with the video, like who got rich and who didn't, what were the working hours and who got the jobs, how did the working conditions lead others to try to make changes in society. We don't have time to even comment about the type of questions that the teacher is asking as well, because that's also very important. So we see the use of the video, something that we covered in creating in creating or using digital tools. So once the video is shared, now this teacher is then using a quiz, right, with the questions about the video for learners to complete the quiz. So can you see the integration of the assessment? So it's the quiz, they watch the video, and then they answer the questions like Matapelo was showing us in terms of the quiz, right? Here's another element here that is interesting. This teacher is not only using quiz, but also the learners are asked to capture 3 key points they learned using a Flipgrid or Padlet. Look at those two tools, Flipgrid as well as Padlet, or capture on Google Docs. Now, look at how this teacher is accommodating multiple intelligences. Flipgrid is video, Padlet is visual, Google Doc is it's a written work. So that's one idea which is really amazing. Now let's look at the second one. The second one here, Learners, oh, okay, the teacher, let's just say the teacher creates a podcast, right? Podcast, it's one of the apps that you can use to create content. So learners listen to this podcast, which is a comprehension. They play the podcast. With the podcast, they can rewind, they can fast forward, they can replay. And once they've done that, the teacher sets questions for learners to answer after they have listened to the podcast. Now, the teacher decides on the tool to use to set those questions. Now, back to our theoretical information. That's when you decide, how are you going to assess? Are you going to assess them after the lesson or during the lesson? Would it be ideal to use Kahoot, or must I use quizzes, or must I give them as a this questionnaire as a homework? Therefore, maybe it would be best to use forms. That's when you make a decision on the tool as well as the method that you would use to assess. All right. Now, back to you. Is there anyone who has an idea on how they can integrate digital assessment in their subject? A brief or a quick description of how they can integrate. You can make examples based on Kahoot as well as quizzes. Do we have anyone who would like to share? If you would like to share, you can raise your hand, and Tapelo is going to identify your hand. Then you will unmute your mic to respond. I'm now going to exit my screen so that I can have access to Teams as well. Right. So it looks like it's something that you still want to think about, how you can apply or how you can integrate digital assessments in your subject. Right. Thank you so much for tuning in up until this time. Now, let us share with you the schedule for the upcoming sessions.
Whilst you share that, I think we shared a link earlier, and maybe we can share the back end so that we have a view of the analysis.
Okay.
There's also a teacher who says, I think it's Renee, who says, I've used Socrative during a training session. Yeah, thanks for the feedback, Renee. And then Umi, myself, I'm not sure who this is asking, how reliable are the links on the internet? What if the links has been taken down? So me, myself, I'm just going to address you as me, myself, because that's what it says in WhatsApp. So the links are reliable. The only time the link will be down is when you don't have connectivity, or when you stop accepting responses for that particular assessment. But generally, the links are very reliable, and there's no need to worry about them.
Can I also add from that, Matapelo? Another problem with the links, if the owner of the document has deleted the work, that link won't be accessible. Or if when you were copying the link, you did not copy it well, then you may find that it has broken, you know, and when you share the link, your recipients are not able to access it.
Yes, that's correct.
Do we have more questions from the WhatsApp group?
Oh, okay.
Or
So
comments?
myself has identified themselves. It's Dawn, and he says he's answered. Thank you.
Right. You can. Do you want to share your screen, Matapelo, to show us the back end?
I've lost the link to the name. What was the name of the assessment again, so that I can go back to it and try and see if I can open it. So
You called
is it on my side?
Matapelo?
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hi, Sisi. Is it on my side? What did I call it? Did I call it assessment?
Yeah, I think you called it assessment.
Okay, let me just try to retrieve it quickly. Okay, I see we've got 3 responses. I'll just share the back end. Let me quickly share my screen. Right, so currently we just demonstrating the back end of the assessment that we shared with you right at the beginning of the demo session. You'll see this is the created assessment, and like I was mentioning earlier, there's 3 responses. You can see that 3 learners have completed, and the average time it's taken to complete was 7 minutes 9 seconds. There's 3 responses, and the status of the assessment itself is active. And you will see that when you scroll down, we've got the name of all the learners that have completed the assessment. We've got a chart of the responses. So what happens here as a teacher, you almost have a view of how your learners are performing in a particular area, and by looking at the question you are able to target a particular module and focus aren't doing well by just having an overview of the completed bits of the assessments. So it's very useful information that you get from the back end. And I think what's more useful is the fact that you have an Excel sheet here that is downloadable. So I'm just quickly going to open in Excel. Let me just say got it. And then click and open in Excel. You'll see it will open in Excel workbook. So in the event where you're looking to get your mark sheets done very quickly, you're able to do so because the Excel sheet has been created for you. All the answers are there. So it's just a matter of you maybe applying formulae at the end. So yeah, that's the end of the back end demo. Thanks, Lingy.
Thanks, Matapelo. We have a question that I would like you to answer, Matapelo. It's from MD. Hi, presenters. Can I check with you if we will earn CPTD points for attending all these sessions? If so, when?
Right. So it is possible the courses that we're sharing with you have been accredited, SACE accredited, but it's important that participants complete the full series of sessions. So from session 1 to session 5 of the Microsoft Teams, session 1 to session 5 of the Google's Teams Google sessions. And then in that case, we'll be able to share a PDF version of your certificate, and the points allocated to you.
Thanks, Matapelo. We have gone over time, but we will quickly attend to the last comments. One comment, it's from Bon. Thanks for sharing info. May we have a schedule for a follow-up session that has been shared via the WhatsApp group. Matapelo, can you please project the upcoming session schedule for us? And the last one, it's from Mohai. You could share the recording for today's session. I would like to practice that and use it with my learners. Very interesting, and will help learners to enjoy the lessons. Yes, we are going to share the recording for this session with all of you.
Right, and I've just uploaded the upcoming sessions. If you can just take a quick picture of the schedule, and I think one of the team members will actually take a picture and post in the WhatsApp group as well.
Right, thank you so much. That is the end of our session today. Apologies for going beyond the agreed time. If you have a question and you would like to stay on, we are here to answer your questions. And if you want to leave the session, please feel free to leave the session. We have come to an end. Thank you so much.